how's it going? Welcome back to another video. I'm your host, Rising Oblivion. Today, guys, we have some news regarding the backwards compatible version of Persona 5 Royal on the PS5. If you didn't know, most games that you get that are on PS4, you could just go ahead, slide the disc into the PS5, and it will work typically just that way. Or if you have a downloadable version, that works just as well. Whenever you get your PS5, you could just pop in the game and it works. Only a select few games so far have been able to do this sort of backwards compatibility, and Persona 5 Royal is one of those. But we actually have a backwards compatibility loading times comparison in regards to the PS4 Pro compared to the PS5's load times. If you did not know, the PS5 uses a SSD, which is a lot faster than what a standard hard drive is, which is what we have in the PS4 and the PS4 Pro. So I'm not 100% sure what the regular PS4 load times are, but we do know what the PS4 Pro load time is for Persona 5 Royal, which is somewhere around 9.2 seconds or 9.02 seconds compared to the PS5, which is a 4.21 seconds on the PS5. So we are literally going to be cutting the load times in half for using the backwards compatible version of the PS5. The capabilities that it gives, just the SSD load times that it does for Persona 5 Royal is cutting speeds in half. But we have a little video here that shows the actual live comparison here of the load times. So on the left is a PS4 and on the left is a PS5. Notice that the PS5 is already done. It is twice as fast because of that SSD. And yes, this is because of the backwards compatibility. There is not a PS5 version of Persona 5 Royal or anything like that. So you cannot really expect too many graphical upgrades. Technically, yes, you might be able to find some. You might be able to do some certain things like stretching it out to 4K, things like that. But it's not a native 2K, like 4K game. It is technically still a 1080p game whenever you play this. PS3, I believe, has a 720p version. The PS4 is 1080p, so you're really only experiencing the game in 1080p, considering that this is not technically a PS5 version of Persona 5 Royal. You are just playing the Persona 5 Royal game, but on a console that is able to load the game faster. It physically can load the game faster than what the PS4 can do because it is not using a magnet tape. It is not using a hard drive. It is using a SSD instead of using that magnet tape hard drive. So if you're a person who really isn't 100% sure all the good games that are going to be coming out for the PS5, because some it's going to be taking a little while before we really get to experience or play the game, so we don't know what games we can have. But the cool thing is being able to use a lot of these backwards compatible games that you could just push right into the PS5, your PS4 games that will work just like Persona 5 Royal does. A lot of these games are going to be having their load times cut in half because of that backwards compatibility. Your game is going to be so much faster, whether it's on disc or it's on the hard drive, because most of the stuff saves to the hard drive whenever you have it. So even if you have a disc version of the game, it's going to load probably twice as fast compared to what you would normally have on your PS4. So technically, you're going to be spending half less of the time than you normally would doing a playthrough of Persona 5, which is really, really cool. It's similar to how we have Persona 4 Golden on PC. It loads, just like that. It's so much faster, which is really cool to see, especially with some of the palaces having longer load times because it has to load the entire map. It typically can take quite a bit longer, and some of the pre-rendered cutscenes are also going to take a little bit longer as well, which is kind of sad considering that I think a lot of the load screens for Persona 5 Royal in particular are actually not that bad. They're pretty nice to look at, especially when you're traveling on the subway station and you see like the people moving back and forth. It's actually kind of creative and cool to see them do stuff like that. If anything, this is one of the few things I guess you can take out of this as being a negative, is because you're not going to be able to see that art for as long. But doing a whole playthrough of the game, you're going to see a lot of the load screens just anyway, because you're going to have to run into them a lot of the time. But I'm going to go ahead and add, this isn't technically Persona 5 related or Shin Megami Tensei or whatever related, but the PS5 is going to have a 825 gigabyte SSD. And like I said, the SSD provides much faster loading times compared to the PS4 Pro. So this isn't just a normal PS4, it's the PS4 Pro, which is the most beefed up version of the PS4. It's almost taking 10 seconds, it's taking 9 seconds because of that. That really just shows the difference that even the most beefed up PS4 is only running half as fast when it comes to load times of the PS5, which is pretty interesting. And this is just one particular load screen where it's loading in the safe room and all the characters and stuff. We might end up seeing a much faster load times and load screens. I'll be sure to try and do some comparison videos whenever I get my PS5 and I try to run this game, but this right here also confirms that the game is automatically backwards compatible. Seeing as how people have already begun testing this, we already know that the game is going to be backwards compatible. So if you have your old Persona 5 Royal game or just the regular Persona 5, you can just slap that puppy on in and it'll go ahead and work, which is really nice. I know a lot of people are concerned because if you have a PS5 and you have the PlayStation Plus membership, you get a catalog of games similar to the Xbox Game Pass. And one of the games are Persona 5, but it is not Persona 5 Royal. A lot of people were upset about that. Typically, and how they are running this new sort of Game Pass sort of deal for PS5 is any games that were free on PlayStation Plus at some point are going to be free on the console. The PS5 is going to have Persona 5 Royal because at some point, I believe it was on the PS3, I don't think it was PS4, Persona 5, just the regular Persona 5 game was free at some point for the console. So because of that, it's on there, but Persona 5 Royal was never free on PlayStation Plus, so that in mind, you cannot get Persona 5 Royal unless you have a backwards compatible disc, which is going to work for the game, which I'm not sure why I'm saying backwards compatible disc. They're all backwards compatible. So as long as you have Persona 5 Royal for PS4, you can play it on PS5 with half of the load times as to what you typically would normally have, which is actually really, really cool. Thanks to these people over here showing this. I think it's Survivor showing this sort of comparison. I got this on Persona 5 or Persona Central. Reggie here as the one who did this little comparison, but it's a nice comparison. It's good to know that this is what we're going to be happening. A lot of these games are going to be running a lot smoother and a lot faster. The PS5 releases November 12th, 2020, so if you want to be playing Persona 5 Royal with half of the download time, seeing as how we can't get this game on PC and it's not on Xbox, so we can't get any sort of SSD anywhere else, the PS5 is technically the only way that you could play Persona 5 Royal with a SSD, unless somehow you end up pirating the game through PC, which I do not recommend. Support Atlus, please. They need the help getting a lot of the games out there, so please support that. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Like, comment, subscribe for more content. I'll have more videos coming your way, more Shin Megami Tensei news, Persona news, just anime news in general, Final Fantasy news. All that stuff will be coming your way, so subscribe to the channel if you want to make sure to be caught up. Ring the bell there if you want to be right on the news as soon as it comes out, because I'll be releasing a lot of these videos as soon as brand new news comes out for this. This is another case of that as well. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.